The night Yu Menglong died. At the height of his fame, Yu Menglong had everything. Hit dramas. Millions of fans. Brand endorsements worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. His public image was spotless. Polite. Elegant. Untouchable. But behind the cameras, something had changed. Friends later described him as a withdrawn, a restless, a constantly looking over his shoulder, a obsessed with encrypted messages. He stopped attending industry parties. He refused private meetings. He installed security cameras inside his own apartment. And 3 weeks before his disappearance, he sent a message to his parents. If anything happens to me, don't believe what they say. No one knew who they were. At least, not yet. On a rainy evening, Yu Menglong left his studio after a late rehearsal. Security footage captured him entering a black car that was not his own. The car was never identified. He never arrived home. 12 hours later, news outlets reported. Actor Yu Menglong has passed away in a tragic accident. No details. No witnesses. No confirmed location. Just a statement. Fans mourned. Tributes flooded social media. The industry moved on. But his parents refused to accept the official story. Because something didn't add up. There was no body. No verified accident report. No police briefing. Only silence. And silence can be louder than truth. 7 days after the announcement, Yu Menglong's parents received a package. No sender. No return address. Inside was a phone. Not his public phone. Not a backup device. A hidden phone. It contained one video. The recording showed Yu Menglong sitting in a dim room, speaking quietly. He looked exhausted. But calm. His words would change everything. If you're watching this, they've already announced my death. I wasn't in an accident. I found something inside the industry. Something bigger than contracts, bigger than money. If this reaches you, it means they couldn't erase everything. He paused. Then said one final sentence. The system protects itself. The video ended. No context. No explanation. Just a warning. Yu Menglong's parents took the video to authorities. They expected an investigation. Instead, they were told to stop asking questions. Officials insisted. The case was closed. The death was confirmed. A further inquiry would cause unnecessary disturbance. But something even stranger happened. News archives about the incident began disappearing. Articles were rewritten. Posts vanished. Search results changed. It was as if reality itself had been edited. And that's when his parents made a decision that would ignite everything. They went public. When the hidden video surfaced online, it spread like wildfire. Millions watched. Millions speculated. 3 theories dominated discussion. Theory 1. Corporate cover-up. Yu Menglong discovered illegal financial operations tied to entertainment agencies. Theory 2. Digital manipulation network. A hidden system controlling celebrity identities and public narratives. Theory 3. The replacement program. A conspiracy suggesting certain public figures were quietly removed and replaced. No theory had proof. But one detail stood out. Experts confirmed the video had not been edited. It was real. And suddenly, Yu Menglong's death didn't look like an ending. It looked like a disappearance. Weeks later, another file appeared. This time uploaded anonymously. The video showed a hallway, sterile, windowless, industrial. At the end of the corridor stood a door labeled Archive Unit 7. For 2 seconds, a figure walked past the camera. The internet exploded. The posture, the height, the movement. It looked exactly like Yu Menglong. Alive. But not free. Independent researchers began examining unexplained celebrity disappearances over the past decade. They noticed similarities. A sudden incidence with minimal details. A rapid media closure. A restricted investigations. A digital record inconsistencies. A pattern emerged. Not random events. A system. A method. And one chilling question surfaced. How many public figures had truly vanished? Menglong's parents released a written statement. They revealed something never mentioned before. Months before his disappearance, he had told them, "Fame is not freedom. It's a contract you don't fully understand until you try to leave." He believed powerful groups controlled not only careers, but identities. They claimed he had been collecting evidence. They claimed he feared exposure. And most chilling of all, they claimed he said, "If I disappear, it means I was right." 1 year after the disappearance, all discussion of the case began fading. Accounts posting about it were removed. Videos vanished. Forums shut down. Search results returned unrelated content. It was as if the story itself was being erased. But rumors never truly disappear. They wait. They evolve. They resurface. No confirmed location. No confirmed death. No confirmed explanation. Only fragments. A message. A hallway. A warning. Was Menglong silenced? Hidden? Protected? Or did he willingly vanish to expose something larger? The truth remains locked behind a door no one can open. Menglong was the embodiment of that illusion. A rising star who seemed to live inside a permanent spotlight. Interviews described him as disciplined. Fans called him mysterious. Industry insiders called him careful. But something changed in the final months before he disappeared. He began declining invitations. He avoided private meetings. He replaced long-time staff without explanation. He started writing notes by hand, then burning them. And 3 weeks before he vanished, he told a friend, "There are rules nobody explains until you try to break them." At the time, no one understood what he meant. Later, everyone would try to. Those closest to him described subtle but unsettling shifts. He stopped using personal devices. He insisted on analog clocks. He covered cameras in his home. A technician hired to install security equipment later recalled something unusual. He requested recording systems that did not connect to any network. Offline only. When asked why, he reportedly said, "Because access is control." Around this time, he began researching contract law, digital identity rights, and archival data systems. None of this matched his public life. But one message would later define everything. Sent at 2:14 a.m. to his parents. "If the story appears before the evidence, don't trust the story." No explanation followed. 3 days later, he vanished. The announcement arrived quickly. Too quickly. A brief statement confirmed a fatal incident. No location disclosed. No timeline verified. No independent report released. Media outlets repeated identical language. Fans mourned. Tributes trended. Questions were discouraged. But something critical was missing. Proof. No public documentation ever surfaced confirming what had happened. And when requests for clarification were made, they were redirected. 7 days after the announcement, a package arrived at his parents' home. Unmarked. Inside was a sealed phone. No contacts. No network history. One encrypted file. After multiple failed attempts, they accessed the recording. The video showed him seated in a dimly lit space. No visible windows. Neutral background. He spoke calmly, but with urgency. "If this is being watched, the narrative has already been decided. What I discovered isn't an accident. It's structure. People think fame is influence. It's not. It's compliance." He paused, looking directly at the camera. The system preserves itself by controlling endings. The file ended abruptly. Metadata indicated it had been recorded days before his disappearance. The device contained no other data. No traceable origin. Only a message, meant to survive. After the recording surfaced publicly, something unusual happened. Online information began changing. Articles were edited. Search rankings shifted. Archived pages returned errors. Independent analysts later demonstrated that early reports and later reports did not match. Entire details had vanished. Not disproven. Not corrected. Removed. This phenomenon became known among online communities as narrative drift. The theory suggested that once an official version of events stabilizes, contradictory information gradually disappears from accessible memory. Not by force, by design. And this case seemed to follow that pattern exactly. Weeks later, anonymous footage appeared online. A static camera view of a sterile hallway. No audio. No timestamp. No identifiable location. At the end of the corridor, a door labeled Archive Unit 7. For 2 seconds, a person walked past the frame. Movement analysis by independent observers suggested the individual's posture and gait were consistent with Menglong. No confirmation was ever established. But the implications were unsettling. If the footage was authentic, the official story could not be. Researchers began examining historical cases of sudden public figure disappearances. They identified recurring characteristics: minimal disclosure, rapid narrative stabilization, restricted independent verification, digital record inconsistencies. This pattern appeared across multiple countries and industries. No direct connection was proven, but a conceptual model emerged. A system not designed to remove people, but to remove uncertainty. Because uncertainty invites scrutiny, and scrutiny threatens control. In a final written statement, his parents shared something never previously disclosed. Months before he vanished, he had spoken about leaving public life entirely. He reportedly said, "You don't step away. You are released." He believed public identity functioned as a managed asset rather than personal ownership. Whether metaphor or literal belief remains unknown. But one line from that conversation became central to the mystery. Endings are negotiated. Over time, discussion faded. Communities dissolved. Videos disappeared. Interest moved on. But unresolved questions remained. If the event was ordinary, why the secrecy? If the explanation was complete, why the gaps? If the narrative was true, why the need to control it? Sometimes a mystery persists not because answers are hidden, but because attention is redirected. The rain began before sunset. Not a storm. Not dramatic. Just a steady, quiet rainfall that blurred streetlights into glowing halos. Inside the studio, rehearsals ran late. Staff later recalled nothing unusual, except that Menglong checked his phone repeatedly, then stopped using it altogether. At 9:47 p.m., he asked to end early. He thanked everyone individually. He bowed slightly, as he always did. He left without security escort. That alone was unusual. He never traveled alone at night. Surveillance cameras captured him walking through the rear exit corridor. His expression was neutral, neither rushed nor relaxed. But something stood out to analysts who later reviewed the footage. He paused before opening the door. Not to look back. To listen. 3 seconds. 4 seconds. Then he stepped outside. The camera facing the parking area recorded the moment that would later become the most analyzed 5 seconds in the case. A black sedan pulled forward from a darkened corner of the lot. No license plate visible. Windows tinted beyond regulation. Headlights remained off despite the rain. The rear passenger door opened from inside. Menglong did not hesitate. He entered. The door closed. The vehicle left the frame in silence. That was the last confirmed public sighting. Between 9:49 p.m. and the following morning, no verified information exists. No traffic camera matches. No toll record. No digital location trace. No confirmed destination. Investigators later described the time period simply as unaccounted. But absence can carry meaning. Because someone, somewhere, knew where that car went. And they never spoke. At 10:12 a.m. the next day, media outlets released identical breaking news headlines. Not similar. Identical. The language was precise, minimal, and final. Actor Menglong has passed away following an unexpected incident. Further details will not be disclosed at this time. No location. No timeline. No authority cited. Within minutes, social media platforms flooded with condolences. Within hours, tribute videos appeared. Within a day, the narrative had stabilized. He was gone. Cause unspecified. Questions discouraged. His parents learned of the announcement the same way the public did. Through a headline. They received no official notification beforehand. No direct communication. No explanation. When they attempted to obtain details, responses were brief and consistent. The matter has been handled. Handled by whom was never clarified. Standard procedure for fatal incidents typically includes documentation, reports, confirmations, verifiable records. In this case, none were publicly released. Requests for confirmation produced only statements. Statements referencing conclusions. Conclusions without disclosed evidence. The absence itself became the first fracture in the official case. Independent researchers later identified one final digital event connected to Menglong's private device. At 11:03 p.m., approximately 1 hour after entering the black sedan, a brief outgoing signal was recorded from his encrypted messaging account. No message content was transmitted. Only a connection attempt. A signal reaching outward. Then silence. The device never connected again. In the studio corridor footage, just before he exited the building, something appears for less than a second. A reflection on the glass panel beside the door. Not a face. Not a figure. A shape. Stationary. Watching. The image is too faint to identify. But frame-by-frame analysis confirmed one fact. He was not alone in that corridor. By the third day, the story had solidified across all major outlets. No updates. No investigation coverage. No emerging details. Only repetition. Repetition creates certainty. Certainty reduces inquiry. And inquiry, once reduced, rarely returns. But in this case, one element refused to disappear. The absence of proof. His parents later described a single moment that changed everything. They were shown a formal notice confirming his death. No supporting information attached. Only a conclusion. His father reportedly asked one question. Where is he? No answer was provided. That question would echo through everything that followed. If you reconstruct the timeline, the sequence appears simple. He left rehearsal. He entered a vehicle. An incident occurred. The matter concluded. But simplicity is not the same as clarity. Because the most critical portion of the story, the event itself, exists only as an assertion. No witnesses have spoken publicly. No location has been verified. No evidence has been independently examined. Only a narrative. And narratives, once accepted, can become indistinguishable from fact. 4 days after the announcement, a maintenance worker at the studio reported an unusual request. He had been instructed to overwrite parking lot footage from the night of the disappearance. When he hesitated, he was told the material was no longer required. He later stated he preserved a backup copy without authorization. That copy would eventually surface. And when it did, viewers noticed something previously overlooked. As the black sedan left the frame, another vehicle followed at a distance. Lights off. Speed matched. Maintaining precise separation. 2 vehicles. 1 departure. 1 shadow. Days passed. The world moved on. The official story was absolute. Menglong was gone. But his parents refused to accept it. They had never met a person so careful, so deliberate, so controlled. And Menglong did not leave behind gaps by accident. The arrival. 7 days after the disappearance, the front doorbell rang. No package had been expected. The courier was anonymous. No note. No sender information. Inside the box was a phone. Not his public phone. Not his backup. A small, encrypted device, unmarked. His mother later described the moment. It was as if it had been waiting for us. The video. They opened the device. One file appeared. A single video. It began in darkness. A faint light illuminated Menglong's face. He was seated in a nondescript room, grey walls, minimal furniture. His expression was calm, almost serene, but there was urgency in his voice. If you're watching this, it means they've already announced my death. I wasn't in an accident. I found something no one was meant to see." He paused. The camera shook slightly, a subtle sign of nervous energy, but controlled. "If this reaches you, it means they couldn't erase everything. They cannot erase truth entirely. But they can silence it, hide it, bury it, and make it seem normal." Menglong leaned closer to the camera. "The system protects itself. It rewrites endings. It closes doors. It removes the inconvenient. And if I disappear, you will know, it has already been done before." He looked down briefly, as if collecting his thoughts. Then looked up again, directly into the lens. "I tried to fight it. I tried to expose it. But some forces do not want to be exposed. If I vanish, it means I was right." The video ended abruptly. No fade. No credits. Just silence. Analysts who later examined the device found something chilling. The video was recorded days before his disappearance. It had no digital footprint outside the device. Attempts to trace its source led to multiple dead ends. In short, it could have come from anywhere, or nowhere at all. For his parents, it was undeniable. This was not a suicide warning. This was a message deliberately preserved for them, and no one else. It proved something terrifying. Menglong had uncovered a secret network capable of controlling reality as it was perceived by the public. He had known they were coming for him. He had left evidence. And he had survived long enough to send the first warning to the world. When the video leaked online, it spread almost instantly. Millions of fans watched, shared, and speculated. Theories exploded across forums and social media. A corporate conspiracy. He discovered illegal operations hidden within the entertainment industry. A digital manipulation. A system controlling public narratives, identities, and even the perception of events. A replacement program. A shadowy theory suggesting certain public figures are quietly removed and replaced. No one had proof. Only fragments. Only the terrifying suggestion that nothing was as it seemed. Viewers noted something subtle in the video. In the background, behind a faint shadow, a door labeled with numbers could be seen. On the table, a piece of paper had coded text, barely visible. The lighting was dim, but reflected faint symbols on the wall. Analysts and cryptographers tried to decode them. Some claimed they were coordinates. Others said they were a date and a warning. No one agreed. But one truth became obvious. Menglong had intended for someone to find it. Days after the leak, several journalists attempting to investigate received anonymous messages. "Stop digging. Some truths are not meant for the living. Look too close, and you disappear too." No one knew who sent them. No one claimed responsibility. But it was clear. The system he warned about was active, watching, and controlling. Menglong's parents had a choice. Remain silent, obey the instructions, let the narrative settle. Or go public, share the video, and risk whatever consequences awaited. They chose the latter. "If the world sees the warning, then at least it will know he was right," his mother later said. And so, the first glimpse of the hidden truth was released to the public. When Menglong's parents took the video to authorities, they expected one thing: action. They expected investigators, interviews, searches. They expected a process that would uncover what had happened to their son. What they got instead was silence. The first meeting. 2 officers received them in a sterile office. No coffee. No warmth. Just a table and a digital recorder, blinking silently. They played the video. One officer leaned back. He didn't ask questions. He didn't take notes. Instead, he said quietly, "The case is closed. Further inquiry will cause unnecessary disturbance. Consider this matter resolved." Resolved. But nothing had been resolved. When the parents asked for official records, surveillance tapes, vehicle logs, digital tracking reports, they were told, they are no longer required. A parking lot footage from the night of his disappearance had been overwritten. Toll records, credit card data, and transportation logs were all missing or marked confidential. Phone records vanished, leaving only one unexplained outgoing signal hours after he entered the black sedan. Every piece of evidence that might explain the disappearance was gone. The parents later remarked. It was as if someone had erased the night itself. Meanwhile, media outlets ran identical stories. Press releases, social media updates, and trending posts all repeated the official line. Menglong passed away following an unexpected incident. No mention of the black sedan. No mention of surveillance footage. No mention of discrepancies. Independent journalists attempted to investigate. Some filed freedom of information requests. Some tried contacting witnesses. All efforts hit the same wall. Our agencies refused comment. Our requests fell through the cracks. Our emails went unanswered. The parents realized something frightening. The system had locked the narrative. Analysts who later examined the case noticed something chilling. Our every public statement was identical in wording across outlets. No independent verification existed. The story stabilized unusually quickly. This pattern would later be observed in other unexplained celebrity disappearances. It suggested a system. A mechanism designed to control perception, suppress investigation, and make uncertainty disappear. Despite attempts to suppress it, fragments of information began to leak. A maintenance worker admitted he kept a backup of the studio's rear exit footage, which included the black sedan. Anonymous tips surfaced online, describing unmarked vehicles shadowing Menglong for weeks prior. Cryptographers attempted to decode faint symbols in the first video. Yet every new lead faced suppression. Web pages were removed. Accounts posting about it were suddenly suspended. Comments discussing the footage were flagged and deleted. The parents began to understand the terrifying reality. This was not a local cover-up. This was something far larger. One of the strangest aspects of the investigation was the digital silence. After the disappearance, his online activity stopped entirely. Emails were never opened. Social media accounts remained dormant. Except for one thing, a single ping from an encrypted device hours after he entered the sedan. No message sent. No content. Only a signal. Experts later noted. It's like a digital ghost, a trace of life after disappearance. It was evidence. And yet, it was ignored. Menglong's parents recalled a conversation from months prior. If I disappear, the world will be told a story. But it won't be the truth. If they ever announce me dead, know that it is not the end, only the beginning of what they want you to believe. Now, confronted with silence, overwrites, and missing records, the parents realized his warning had been accurate. The investigation had never truly begun. And that realization would set the stage for what came next. The world would see the fragments. They would speculate. They would theorize. But only the parents, and the hidden message he left behind, knew the full case. By this point, several chilling questions emerged. 1. Who had the power to overwrite surveillance, erase digital trails, and suppress investigative efforts? 2. How many others had experienced the same disappearance without investigation? 3. And if the world believed the narrative, did the truth even matter anymore? Menglong's disappearance was no accident. It was a demonstration. How easily a life can vanish when the system chooses. Once the hidden video leaked online, the world could no longer ignore it. It spread like wildfire. Within hours, millions had watched, shared, and commented. And yet, the reactions were not uniform. Some refused to believe it. Some were terrified. Some were obsessed. The story had escaped the official narrative, and the internet had taken control. Almost immediately, 3 dominant theories began to dominate discussions across forums, social media, and conspiracy websites. 1. Corporate cover-up. Fans speculated that Menglong had uncovered illegal financial operations hidden within the entertainment industry. Some believed contracts, sponsorships, and endorsements were fronting for much larger networks. Others suggested he had found financial evidence that could topple powerful agencies. 2. Digital manipulation network. Cryptographers and tech enthusiasts studied the faint symbols in the video and claimed they were part of an encrypted system controlling public perception. Every digital trace could be erased. Every social media post could be rewritten. Reality itself could be subtly altered, enough that the public never questioned it. 3. The replacement program. The darkest theory suggested certain public figures were quietly removed and replaced. Disappearances were staged. Videos, appearances, and statements were fabricated to continue the illusion of life. Menglong may have been targeted because he discovered the program. No one had proof. Only fragments. Only questions. But the video made one thing clear: he was aware of something enormous and dangerous. By the third day, international media picked up the story. Headlines ranged from cautious speculation to sensationalism. Star vanishes. Was it an accident or something sinister? Celebrity disappearance. Clues suggest shadow network at work. The mystery of Menglong. Did he leave a message no one was meant to see? Viewers watched every frame of the video. Analysts paused, enhanced, and dissected every second. Some noted faint numbers reflected on the wall. Others claimed to detect a shadow moving behind him. Still others focused on his tone, pauses, and eye movements, suggesting he knew he might never be found. The internet became a hive of speculation, theory, and obsession. Amateur and professional cryptographers joined forces online, attempting to decode faint symbols on the walls of the video, a partially visible paper on the table, subtle patterns in his voice and timing. Some claimed the numbers were GPS coordinates. Others suggested they were dates, possibly the timeline of disappearances in the industry. A few believed the coded message pointed to another hidden location where he was being held. But every attempt was met with frustration. The symbols seemed to shift when published online, almost as if the more they were examined, the less legible they became. As discussions intensified, anonymous users began sending warnings to journalists. Stop digging. You don't know what you're touching. Some truths are not meant for the living. Threats were vague. No source could be traced. No one claimed responsibility. But the intimidation worked. Several independent investigations were quietly abandoned. And the parents? They remained steadfast. They insisted that the world see at least part of the truth. Within a week, hashtags exploded across social media platforms. Discussion threads grew into massive forums dedicated to uncovering Menglong's secret. Fan-made reconstructions, slow-motion analyses, and audio enhancements went viral. Every new theory pulled more attention. Every unexplained shadow sparked debate. Every cryptic symbol led to more questions than answers. The internet had become both a magnifying glass and a magnifier of fear. Within 2 weeks, international experts began weighing in. Psychologists analyzed his expressions and tone, suggesting he had been under extreme stress yet remained purposeful. Digital forensics experts confirmed the video had not been edited, lending credibility to his warnings. Sociologists noted that the spread of the story followed a pattern identical to previous mysterious disappearances. The pattern was unnerving. The more people studied it, the clearer it became. Menglong's disappearance was not isolated. It was part of something larger, a system hiding in plain sight. 4 days after the leak, a fan researcher published coordinates decoded from the video symbols. Within hours, the post was removed. The researcher reported strange activity outside their home. Unmarked cars driving slowly past. Anonymous messages warning them to stop. Digital traces of devices in the area, unidentifiable. The warning became real. Menglong's message, that some truths were too dangerous, was proving true. It was at this point that millions of online users realized. The disappearance was no accident. The system he warned about was active. And Menglong had intentionally left clues for those brave enough to look. Every theory, every post, every analysis became a puzzle piece. But there was one critical truth. The more the world learned, the more the system seemed to watch, react, and control what could survive. The internet had become both a battleground and a beacon. And somewhere behind the shadows, Menglong's fate remained a question mark. Weeks had passed since the first video leaked. The world had reacted with awe, fear, and obsession. Forums buzzed, hashtags trended, and cryptographers worked around the clock. But then, something new appeared. An anonymous file, uploaded to a private server, surfaced online. No explanation. No source. No signature. The world paused to watch. The video opened to a sterile, dimly lit corridor. No sound. No timestamp. Only a flickering overhead light casting shadows along the walls. At the far end of the hallway, a single door was visible. Archive Unit 7. The camera was stationary. Its lens captured nothing more than the corridor and the door, at first glance. Then movement appeared. A figure walked past the frame. A posture upright. A gait precise. A timing deliberate. Observers immediately noticed. The figure's movements matched Menglong's exactly. Cryptographers, behavioral analysts, and forensic video experts examined the footage frame by frame. A height and posture aligned with Menglong. A timing of steps matched video references from known appearances before his disappearance. Even subtle gestures, head tilt, hand swing, were consistent with his known mannerisms. 2239, the 2nd of November, 2026. The consensus? The person appeared to be him. But there was one problem. No one could verify where the footage had been taken. No location could be identified. No sound gave context. It was as if he existed, just out of reach. When the video went viral, speculation skyrocketed. Was Menglong alive? Was this a staged recording? Was it someone replicating him perfectly? A double, a digital recreation, or something even stranger? Social media exploded. He's alive. He was never gone. This is a warning. They're showing us he's under control. Archive Unit 7. What are they hiding? Even official channels remained silent. No confirmation. No comment. Silence once again became a part of the case. Several details went unnoticed by casual viewers but were quickly identified by online sleuths. Faint markings on the floor suggested footwear consistent with a single individual. No one else had been in the corridor. A subtle shadow flickered near the walls in a pattern unexplained by the lighting. The door at the end of the hallway was slightly ajar in some frames, then completely closed in others, without anyone visibly touching it. Every frame added more questions than answers. Online theorists began to construct scenarios. 1. Secret containment. Menglong was alive, but held under surveillance in an unknown facility. The corridor was part of a controlled environment to prevent escape or communication. 2. Digital recreation. The figure in the video was a highly detailed recreation, either CGI or an AI simulation, designed to send a warning without exposing his actual location. 3. Hidden witness. Some suggested it was an anonymous insider who recorded him deliberately for the public, leaving a breadcrumb to signal that he was alive and still aware of the world outside. No theory could be verified. Yet each one terrified audiences more than the last. As the video spread, forums dedicated to decrypting clues sprang up overnight. Users analyzed reflections in the walls. Some zoomed in on the floor patterns. Others dissected shadows and lighting for hidden symbols. The internet became a hive mind. It was both hunting and observing. And one fact became clear. The system Menglong had warned about, the one controlling the narrative, was not asleep. It responded silently, allowing certain clues to surface while erasing others. Every discovery was a breadcrumb. Every disappearance of information was a warning. The most chilling observation: the figure's gait and timing were too natural to be artificial. He adjusted his posture when the door moved. He paused briefly as if listening to a sound off camera. His head tilt matched known idiosyncrasies captured in previous footage. It was subtle, almost imperceptible. But analysts agreed. Menglong was likely alive in this video. And that alone transformed the mystery.